This is Can I Laugh on Your Shoulder? Hey, welcome to Can I Laugh on Your Shoulder? I'm Molly Stillman, and this is a podcast where I get to sit down with a different guest each week and have raw, funny, often brutally honest conversations about the things that matter most: faith, business, life, and everything in between, where we each learn how to be good stewards of the things we've been entrusted with, even our stories, and how we can use those things to serve others and leave our families, our friendships, and our communities a little better than we found them. I want to create a space where people are unafraid to be themselves and unafraid to ask the questions the rest of us are thinking. My goal is to make you laugh, cry, and laugh till you cry. Welcome to episode 350. I legitimately can't believe that we are here at episode 350. In fact, I said something to my husband last week saying, I mean, with 350 episodes, like that's a lot of episodes. I'm coming up on 7 years of podcasting, which in some ways it feels like it's been longer. And then in other ways, it feels like I just started doing this yesterday. But here we are at episode 350, and the podcast has obviously taken a, it's ebbed and flowed and it's evolved over the years, but the one constant has been yours truly. And I love doing this podcast. It's so much fun, and I love getting to sit down with so many really cool people that, I mean, in any other forum, I would have never had the chance to sit down and talk with. But as you know, on the 10s, we like to do a solo episode around here. And I say we, like it's me and other people sitting in a room. But no, it's me by myself at my desk in my office/recording studio. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to do for this episode, I had kind of thrown around a couple of ideas, and I decided to do something fun because, I mean, it's my podcast and I wanted to do something fun. And I thought maybe you would think this is fun, because the reality is, every episode is I'm sitting down with somebody else asking them questions. And very rarely do I tell you things about myself. I mean, you might share a story or an anecdote. We're going to work this out in real time. I think I meant anecdote, but is it spelled the same way as antidote? I don't know. An antidote, I think, is what you do when you get like poisoned and you need the antidote. We watched Batman Begins last night and they needed the antidote. Anyway, I digress. The anecdote. This is what you're here for. This is what you're really here for. But unless I tell a little story here or there, maybe you don't know some things about me. Maybe you've been listening to this podcast since episode 1, all the way back at the beginning in the summer of 2016. Or maybe you just started listening this spring or somewhere in between. Or maybe right now, this is your very first introduction to the show. And so I wanted to kick it old school because I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. And back in the early days of blogging, and I'm talking about like real early. So when I was in high school, so this would have been, 1999 and 2000. In that time is when I started writing online, but LiveJournal didn't even exist yet. I had created my own website on GeoCities, if anybody remembers GeoCities. And there was kind of this whole internet community of kids, presumably teenagers, who were building their own websites, and we would, craft different graphics and things like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't at the time really know like what the purpose of it was, but in any event. And that is what started the whole get to know me tags. And then, of course, those tags then kind of transitioned to LiveJournal or the early days of blogging on WordPress or even Google Blogs or Blogspot and then YouTube. And they're just, fun, random get to know you questions. And so that's why I wanted to kick it old school. And we're going to do a random get to know me questions list. And if there are any other podcasters listening, I would love for you to do this too, and then send me your episode because I just think it'd be really fun. So anyway, this is your opportunity to get to ask the questions that you like. Let's just pretend that you are on the other side of the desk from me right now and you're asking me the questions. Okay, let's get into it. Question number 1 is, are you named after anyone? I am not. It's an Irish name, obviously, Molly. My full name at birth was Molly Eileen Buckley. Very Irish. My parents basically knew when they met that they wanted to have a baby and they wanted it to be a girl and they wanted to name her Molly. So that was pretty much it. Question number 2 is, do I have kids? You know this question. Yes, I have 2, Lily and Amos, and also have 2 boys that went to heaven early in pregnancy, Elijah and Malachi, and that was back in 2018. And I always wanted a lot of kids. I always wanted like 5 kids. So I just adopt my other friends' kids, and there's just always a lot of children in my house. So I get my kid fix regularly. Question number 3. When was the last time you cried? Probably yesterday. I cry all the time. I don't know if I'm just like somebody who's I'm often a sympathy crier, or if I see someone else crying, I will cry. Could I tell you what made me cry yesterday? I could not. I don't know. Also this morning, as of the time that I recorded this, I woke up and my tailbone is incredibly sore. Like I fell on it and I was trying to figure out why. And I realized it was from just like bending down a lot yesterday, picking up trash. We were doing a service project with our church, and apparently my tailbone is sore from picking up trash years old. So I may or may not have like slightly cried because apparently I'm sore all the time. Okay, question number 4. If you were another person, would you be a friend of yourself? I think so. I think I'm pretty fun to be friends with. So question number 5. Do I use sarcasm a lot? No, not as much as my husband. Sarcasm is John Stillman's not first language, but second. So much so that like his sarcasm is even sometimes like, we've been married 11 years. We've been together almost 13 years. And there are still times where he will say something and I will genuinely look at him and be like, are you being serious or are you not? So his sarcasm is that good. Number 6. What is the first thing you notice about people? I guess on like a surface, probably what you're wearing. But genuinely, I don't know if this is like a real spiritual gift or not, but like I have a unique ability to read people well, like pretty quickly after meeting somebody. I don't want to say size them up because that's not right, but just get a good feel for, is this person phony? Is this person legit? Would I want to be friends with this person? I don't know. So I guess obviously like first thing that I would notice is, just how they look. But then I love to meet all kinds of people and I make friends everywhere I go. So number 7, what is your eye color? Hazel. But then sometimes they look really green and then sometimes they just look hazel. So, and apparently hazel is like the rarest eye color. I didn't know that. I thought blue was, but I'm wrong. And maybe I'm actually even wrong about that. But this is something that I was told recently. Okay, question number 8 is scary movie or happy endings? Happy endings all the way. Hard pass on scary movies. Don't like scary movies. I don't like scary, really anything. Now, this is different between like a scary movie as in like horror versus suspenseful or thriller action. I like action, thriller, suspenseful movies. I don't like scary movies. Number 9, favorite smells. I'm going to give you 2 answers for this. One is going to be a, that sounds weird. And a number 2 is going to be normal. So let's do the second one first. My second favorite smell is just flowers in general, like roses, peonies. I just love floral scents, love fresh flowers, things like that. But my other favorite smell, and this is going to sound maybe really weird, but maybe you know what I mean. So you know how every house and every person has like a smell. And I don't mean that in like a bad way. It's just kind of like your brand of smell. I love coming home after vacation and walking into my house and being like reminded what my house smells like. And I think my house smells good. But then especially my room and my bed, like after when I put fresh clean sheets on it, I will just crawl into my bed and like smell my pillow, and it just brings me great comfort. Is that weird? I don't know. I'd love to know if somebody else is like, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, question number 10 is, what is the furthest you've ever been from home? I'd probably Kenya. Been to Kenya quite a few times. Number 11, do you have any special talents? I can sing, and I am learning to play the guitar. I'm competent now in that I can play songs and I can play at church. I am by no means at the skill level of a touring guitarist or Dave Matthews or John Mayer, but I can play competently, and I can play golf. That was my sport growing up. So I don't know if those are talents, but there you go. Number 12, where were you born? I was born in Fairfax Hospital in Fairfax, Virginia in August of 1985. I grew up in Herndon, Virginia, was born and raised there, lived in the exact same house my entire life until I went to college. Number 13, what are your hobbies? Right now, I would say guitar and reading if I have time for it. And then obviously I live on a farm. So basically anything farming. I have developed a lot of what I've kind of called granny habits over the last couple of years, where I really like to can, and I like to cook and do, food preserving and things like that. I'm trying to learn how to make sourdough, but I'm struggling. So anyway, that's the one like homesteady thing that I'm not good at yet. All right. Number 14. Do I have any pets? A few. We've got our dogs, Tater and Fanny, and we've got 3 barn cats, Cat Bauer, President Palmer, and Chloe O'Meowen. If you're a 24 fan, then you know exactly where those names came from. And then we've got our goats. We have Waylon and Kix and Ronnie and Maria. And we had Willie, but we had to put our goat Willie down about almost a month ago now. Oof, man, can't believe that happened. And then we have an innumerable, is that the word I'm looking for? Many chickens, ducks, guinea fowl. And we added geese, baby geese to the farm. So that's a new animal. Bees, but I don't call those pets. So do I have any siblings? Yes, I do. I have a sister. Her name is Bridget, and she's awesome. And she's older than me. She lives about an hour away from me. And yeah. All right, number 16. What did I want to be when I grew up? I think many of you probably know this, and that is I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. And I'm not joking when I say that. Some people are like, oh, that's cute, but like, what did you really want to be? I'm like, no, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. So, oh man. Number 17 is, who was your first best friend? So I had 2 friends from a very early age, Becca and Katie. And with Becca, our moms worked together at the hospital, and I am still friends with Becca to this day. I don't get to see her as much as I would like. She lives very far away from me, but anytime we are even on the same coast of the country, we try to see each other. And my friend Katie, also we were friends. We were in Daisy Girl Scouts together, and she also lives very far away. So I don't get to see her nearly as often as I would like, but we try to keep in touch through text and social media, things like that. Number 18, how tall am I? I'm pretty short. I like to say 5'3" on a good day. I will often wear block heels that make me a couple inches taller, but in general, I'm pretty short. All right, next question is, how many countries have I visited? Let's see. Obviously, United States, Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, Kenya, Italy, Czech Republic, Portugal. And then I've had, I can say England because I got out of the airport there. So I've like driven around London when I had a really long layover. And then I've had a layover in Paris, but I've never actually like stepped foot outside of there. So we're gonna say 9. We're gonna say 9 countries. Next question is, what was your favorite or worst subject in high school? My favorite subject was, I just always liked any form of English. I loved writing, and hence why I was a writing major in college. And I was terrible at math. Just awful. What sports do I play or have I played? So I kind of mentioned that I grew up playing golf, and that was the sport that I was really good at growing up, and played that for a long time competitively. And I also played softball for a short period for a couple of years. And I was pretty good at it, but I kid you not, I did not make the high school softball team, even though I felt like I was really good. But because I couldn't run a sub 8-minute mile. And I still to this day don't know why I had to run a sub 8-minute mile to play softball. But alas, I didn't make the team because I couldn't run a sub 8-minute mile. I'm just never been a fast runner. So there's that. I tried lacrosse for like half a season, and I was like, this is going to be a hard pass because it's way too much running. So, and as we just noted, I'm not a runner by nature. What is my favorite memory from childhood? I have a lot, but the one that comes to mind immediately is a pretty infamous story in my family of when one of the times, because I saw them multiple times in concert, was one of the times my mom took me and my friends to see NSYNC in concert. And I was a big NSYNC fan. I was NSYNC over Backstreet Boys, save your emails. But my mom, like my friends and I, we all got tickets, and my mom was going to take us. And my mom she'd been chronically ill for a long time. And so this was a big deal for her to be able to get out of the house and take us to this concert. And so my friends and I went to Deb at the mall. If anybody from the late 90s, early 2000s remembers Deb, I think my skin is still itchy from those clothes. My mom took us to Deb to go shopping. We got, sequin, glitter shirts and things like that for the concert. And my mom was like, well, I want to get an outfit. And of course, being a teenager, I was just absolutely mortified that my mom was going to get an outfit from Deb for the NSYNC concert. Well, sure enough, she picked out this outfit, and she comes out of the dressing room, and she just felt like she looked like $1 million. And it was these faux snakeskin pleather pants, this black sequin top, and then a black and kind of maroonish colored pleather jacket. I'm sure there's a picture somewhere in the world that exists of this outfit. I have been trying to search for it for a while because my mother was, as the kids say, doing the most. She was so proud of herself. She just thought she looked like $1 million. And I was, of course, mortified. But on the inside, I was like, okay, this is really fun. And I will just never forget her taking me to that concert with my friends. And we had the best time, and just seeing her smile and her face light up. It's just one of my favorite memories. All right, next question is, are you an extrovert or an introvert? So I'm going to tell you the honest answer to this. And I tell you, every time I tell other people the answer to this, people don't believe me. I am an introvert. And I would be what would be categorized as an extroverted introvert, in that it's not like I'm not a recluse. Not that all introverts are recluses. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I don't like to talk to people. It's not that I can't talk to people. It's not that I'm shy or anything like that. I just love my alone time, and that is how I recharge. I love being around my friends. I love being around the people I love, but I also really love to just kind of sit by myself with a book, or take a bath, or just kind of go for a walk alone. I definitely recharge alone, which is not how extroverts work. So again, people, and I think as I've aged, that has definitely changed. When I was a kid, I probably would have said I was much more of an extrovert, but here we are, and at this stage of my life, and I'm definitely way more introverted. All right, next question is, are you left or right-handed? I'm left-handed. So I would just like to say that there are a large majority, not a majority, but a very large amount of very famous actors and actresses and thinkers and philosophers and presidents of the United States who are left-handed. So I'm just saying, I think left-handed people are pretty genius. Next question is, do I consider myself a good cook? And the answer is yes. I am a good cook. I know I'm a good cook. My husband would definitely say I'm a good cook. My kids, depending on the day, would say if I'm a good cook. But I love to cook. I didn't always love to cook, but in middle school, I took a home ec class and I had a project where I had to make like a full, 5-course meal with the amuse-bouche and side dishes and dessert and all that kind of stuff. And that was where I really discovered, oh, this is fun, but then didn't really spend a lot of time on it until I lived alone. And so right out of college, I lived alone. I was on a budget. And so I had to learn how to cook. And so I really taught myself how to cook, and I love it. I just love being in the kitchen. I love cooking for other people. I love trying new recipes. I do repeat recipes, but I love to try new recipes. So if I have a recipe that I repeat, that's when you know that it's really good. Next question is if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? And my honest answer, and I'm not just like blowing smoke, guys, it would be right here in this house on this farm with these people. This is my happy place, and I love this place, and I never plan to leave it. What language besides your native language would you like to be fluent in? So I can coherently speak Spanish. I can read it pretty well. If a native Spanish speaker is speaking to me, I need them to speak slowly. But I can, get around in Spanish. I have been trying to learn Swahili over the last couple of years from my trips to Kenya. And every time I go back to Kenya, I come home having learned much more. I just learn it way quicker there because it's I don't have anybody to practice with here. So I'm basically just doing Swahili on Duolingo, which is only gets you so far. Okay. Next question is, have you ever won a trophy or an award? What was it for? Yes. But honestly, my favorite, or the one that means the most to me, was when I was a high school teacher right out of college. I was a high school teacher for a couple of years. I was the winner of first year teacher of the year at my school. And so that was a really big deal. I still have the award, and it really meant a lot to me. All right. What is the first movie you remember seeing? The Wizard of Oz. That's the very first one I can consciously in my psyche, I think that's what I'm trying to say, remember seeing. And I was obsessed with it and watched The Wizard of Oz all the time. All right. Next question is, what is one word that describes you? And I would say loyal. I really value loyalty. Okay. This is a fun one. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? That is New York Super Fudge Chunk from Ben & Jerry's. NYSFC, as my parents always called it, or chocolate chip cookie dough. What is your favorite Bible verse? That is 1 Peter 4:10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Am I a fan of any sports teams? Yes, the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland, Guardians, the North Carolina Tar Heels, obviously, and the Christopher Newport University Captains. Okay, and then we're going to just do one more question because this has been fun. But what is something that amazes you? Honestly, just living here on the farm and seeing life happen around me, whether it's in my kids and seeing them grow up before my eyes, or seeing, the instincts of animals, whether that, we have a broody chicken that decides to hatch eggs, or hatching eggs ourselves, or, baby goats being born. I mean, there's just so many things that amaze me when I look at creation and look around me, and I just don't think I will ever get tired of it. Anyway, well, if you have other questions that you would like to ask to get to know me, and they can be silly or whatever, you can let me know on social media. You can always find me. I'm at Still Being Molly, or at Can I Laugh Pod on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, I just hope you know how much I am grateful for you and for every comment and for every download and for every share of the episodes or the show or just your encouragement, emails I get. It really does mean the world to me. And of course, thank you to the amazing team at Third Wheel Media for producing the show, because I could not do this without them. And as always, I'm just so grateful for you, and I will see you next week. We've got some really amazing guests coming up, and I cannot wait to share these episodes with you. But for now, I hope something this week makes you laugh till you cry. We'll see you next week. Bye.